how you're going to master your money by telling every dollar that you bring in what to do. Now, before getting started, you have to figure out what tool you want to use. Meaning, do you want to use an app? Do you want to use good old fashioned pen and paper? Or do you want to use an Excel spreadsheet? As far as apps go, a lot of people, even Investing with Rose, mentioned this in her video, Why Now? Why You Need a Budget. It's a popular app that a lot of personal finance experts recommend people use. I do not use an app. I love spreadsheets. I'm a spreadsheet girl. And I know that may not be your cup of tea. So if you are not wanting to use a spreadsheet, or pen and paper, consider using that app. There is a cost associated with it, I'm not sure, but if you want to just really get into it right now, pen and paper or template. Now, I have something special for you. I have the templates that I actually use. I currently use now with tracking my spending. So if you want that template, either the paper, Excel file, or both, make sure you click the link in the description box and I will send one right over to you. Now let's get right into aligning spending with priorities. First and foremost, I'm Tasha Danielle, and my channel is all about inspiring women to forge the financial journey that will allow them to live out their travel dreams, whether that is going to that dream vacation spot or traveling long term like I am. This video was inspired by Investing with Rose's How to Get Good with Money video. There were so many great points in that video, and I wanted to go more in depth with how to align your spending with your priorities and touching on the importance of knowing your net worth. Aligning your spending with your priorities may sound a little bit like the B word that you've been dreading hearing about, budgeting. Let's not dwell in on what term to use. The first thing you want to do is list out how much money you have coming in, your income, your direct deposits that you receive every month. Let's jot down how much money you have coming in. If you side hustle and it varies, put down like an average that you expect to receive. If you side hustle doing Uber, Lyft, or virtual assistant online, whatever that side hustle is, you want to combine that with your W-2 income. This template is cool because the math is done for you. So starting off with how much money you have coming in, you can simply go over into the cell and type over it and say wherever you work. Let's just say you work at a electric company, right? Electric company. I am just literally making things up off the top of my head. And you get paid every week. Let's say you get paid $800 a week. So you see how things are changing in this template? The math is going to math for you, okay? Green, this is where you want to end up. You want to see the green. So for right now, we're just focusing on how much money we have coming in. Side hustle information, you can simply type over it, put Lyft. If you're a virtual assistant, you can just put VA. Whatever that side money is, maybe you're getting child support, maybe you are getting disability, or some other source of income is coming in. You can simply type over this stuff and enter it in and type in the number. And the money, well, not the money, it will sum up for you over here. So that's when we're talking about first part for income. If you're using my template, this is what you should be focusing on first. Entering in the information in this area. Or your self-employed income. Jot that down on a piece of paper, spreadsheet, or you should be putting that into YNAB. After listing out what's coming in every month, it is time to look at essentials. Before you do anything, before you tell your money where to go, you want to make sure that you live in a safe and comfortable life, meaning that you want to make sure you have a roof over your head, your lights is being paid, that type of stuff. So there's no point of talking about our dream vacation destinations, I should say, or any priorities if we are not making sure we're telling our money to cover our essential bills. So this can be subjective, because when I am coaching clients, or when I've coached clients in the past, it's always been Should I put my hair down here? Should I put my hair salon cost? Should I put my manicure, pedicure, my lashes? Like, because that's essential to me. I need that to survive. Let me break it down to you like this. What if you lost your job today? What would you want to be covered? Like, for real. Like, you may say, well, I need my hair to have good self-esteem and to feel, or I'll be down and depressed, but literally, what do you need to survive and feel safe? Okay, we can minus that comfort out for a little bit if you are really a person that's really gonna put everything in here. We're gonna get to the non-essentials in a moment, but that's the second step. First step, how much money you got coming in. Second step, let's list out the essentials, and we are telling our money what it is about to do. So I need you to list out what those expenses are. The next step is to list out your monthly debts, because you need to tell your money to pay off your monthly debts, at least a minimum, to maintain a good credit score. So some questions that I have received in the past is, should I put my mortgage payment under the debt because it's really debt, it's just a mortgage? That should go under your essentials, because you definitely have to pay that to keep your house, but you don't need to pay your credit card to keep a roof over your head, if that makes sense. So this is what I mean for essentials. Same thing I get for a car payment. Your minimum car payment, if you don't pay that minimum car payment, your car is gonna get repossessed. So after a few months, it's gonna get repossessed. And if you need your car to go to work, and if you have a car, I'm sure you need it in the US, a lot of cities, you need to have a car to get around, or you're going to be paying for Uber, because quite frankly, the mass transit system in the US is just really not that great unless you are in like New York or Chicago. So that is my 2 cents on that. But you have your income coming in, you have your essentials, which is the bills like you need to pay to like be safe and, live the normal, comfortable life of the bare necessities of having food, water, shelter. Internet is needed to have to do your job if you're working from home, stuff like that. And then listing out your debt minimum payments. Now, I'm not going to go over how to pay your debt off. Now, I did pay off over $80,000 of debt before the age of 30. And if you want to see how I did that, let me know in the comments, and I will do a separate video on that, and I will literally sit down and walk through the spreadsheet that I use to pay off my debt. And let me tell you this, I definitely took vacations while paying off my debt. I believe in balance. And so that is one of the things I want to get to in a moment in this video. So again, I won't be walking through like the debt snowball and different things like that, or debt avalanche. That is a whole other video in itself. Now, the debt minimum payments, once you have that all listed, you don't need to worry about the interest or anything like that, because again, that's going into like debt payoff kind of thing. Move on to the non-essentials. Now remember, you are telling your money where to go. So what do your non-essentials look like? This could be concerts. If you know within the next 30 days you plan to buy concert tickets, it will go there. So this is the stuff that I'm talking about, non-essentials, like your entertainment, the happy hours, the brunch, if you even have the luxury of being able to do that. And this is what I want you to realize, and I want you to think about before you start writing these numbers down. When you go to these type of places, are you paying cash money or are you swiping on your credit card? Because one thing people get caught up in is they have a high inflated sense of income because they're swiping on their credit card and they're able to make the monthly payments on their debt. So when we get to the end of this, we gonna find out. Okay, so I want you to list out your essentials that you plan to do this month. Birthdays coming up, anniversary for someone, you need to get a gift, significant other, all those things. Think about it. Now you may be like, okay, Tasha, this is just too much. I don't know how much I'm gonna spend on my significant other's gift this upcoming month. Christmas is around the corner. Like, I don't know how much I'm planning on spending. If you're saying that, that is a problem, because you need to tell your money what to do, not merchants, retailers, all these advertisements telling you what you need to do with your money. You need to tell your money what to do. Okay, so if this is making you uncomfortable, it's fine. Pause, woosah for a minute. don't click off. Just pause it and just inhale, and it's going to be okay. I have been there. Like, this is not coming from a person who's just throwing out ideas. This is coming from me paying off over $80,000 of debt and then helping others reach their financial goals through doing this right now. This is a journey. So list out those non-essentials. And again, you may go back and forth, and you may have listed your hair and your personal beauty maintenance under essentials. Okay, it needs to go under non-essentials, in my opinion. Now you have done a lot of the hard work, but there's a couple other categories we need to talk about. Now let's talk saving. Some people ask me, well, I heard you should pay yourself first, and should I tithe if you are a religious person? I should be doing all this above and first. Listen, we are going to just talk about saving in the context of emergency fund. Okay, I believe that you need to have 1 month emergency fund saved up before you start tackling, overpaying on debt or saving for the dream vacation and all of that. Before we get to the sinking funds, you need to have 1 month of living expenses saved. And the reason is because if you find yourself constantly feeling like, okay, if an emergency happens, I'm always falling behind. It's always something. As soon as my savings account get good, something happened. You definitely need to have the 1 month expenses saved. And if you don't know what that looks like, you need to have all the items in that total that you had listed from the essentials area. That is how much you need to have saved minimum, plus your debt payments. Because if an emergency happens, you still want to be able to make your minimum debt payment so you can maintain a good, healthy credit score. Now, I have some videos coming up on credit scores as well. Well, if you want them, if you need them. But I want to mention that at this point in the video. Okay, this is what I mean when I say 1 month of living expenses. Now, it would be great if you can get to 3 to 6 months. But if your living expenses are so large, it could take you a while to get to that point before you start hitting other goals. So I'm saying to you, you need to get to that minimum 1 month of living expenses of essentials plus your minimum debt payments saved up before you start getting to things like sinking funds. And this sinking funds is basically putting a name on your different savings goals, right? And this is the fun part of telling your money where to go. And if you are frustrated at this point because you are seeing on your sheet that there's an income gap, it's time to side hustle to get more money coming in or start taking stuff off. And that's the part where people get mad and like, I don't want to live a restrictive life. But you have to ask yourself, do you want to brunch every Sunday, or do you want to actually go and live your dreams on that dream vacation if you've always wanted to go to Paris? Do you want to keep going to the same brunch spots every weekend over going to your dream trip to Paris? That is what you have to ask yourself, and that's truly the trade-off that's happening, okay? So 1 month living expenses saved. If you are not there yet, if you don't even have a savings account, that's something that you need to open, because you need to have your savings separate from your checking account where you are paying your bills out of, okay? So once you have that saved, you can start putting money towards your sinking funds, I should say, the fund money. So what are sinking funds? Again, it is putting a label on your specific savings. So what is something that you want to do from a vacation? So I'm talking about vacations. If you're watching this, like, I'm not into travel, but I still want to learn how to master my money. What are some financial goals of yours? Okay, and that's what you put the sinking fund for. If it's to, save up for a down payment on a house, that could be a sinking fund. If it's to go to Paris, if it's go to Barbados, whatever those vacation spots is, that's what you put the sinking fund. Those lines are blank for you to fill that in. And then you put in the amount. Now, you may say, I don't even know how much it will cost for me to go to Hawaii, Paris. And I won't be surprised if you are saying that to yourself, because so many people just dream of things and they think it's so far out of reach that they don't even put in any effort of looking up the cost of things. If you can do this, you can go on that dream trip, right? You need to know how much it costs. So the bare minimum, if you want to go to Paris or Kenya, I'm in Africa right now. Let's say you want to go to Kenya on a safari trip. Google average 7-day cost of safari in Kenya, or average day cost of Paris 7 days, and just put in the number that Google gives you for emphasis of just being able to get through this exercise, right? Now you need to look up the flight cost, because whatever the average cost Google gives you is going to be pulling information from like bloggers and stuff like that. You need to also add in your flight cost. And so just do a quick search. I'm from Detroit, so I'll put in DTW to whatever King Airport or whatever your dream destination is, and you put in that price. Now again, you can do a lot of things to save money, like use Skyscanner, all kind of other apps to look for low cost prices of flights. We're just putting it in for emphasis of wanting to get to the numbers, right? We want to tell our money what to do. We want to align our spending with our priorities. And you put that number down on your spending alignment with priorities worksheet. So this is a lot. If you haven't done anything like this, it can be a little overwhelming. And this is why it's helpful to have a template of some sort to kind of write everything down, or use an app to kind of guide you through it. Because if you just take a blank piece of paper, or you're using your notes on your phone, if you are on Android or iPhone, you could just be jotting stuff down. No, you need to make sure you're not missing categories or not, forgetting things going off memory. Now, sinking funds is, like I said, I'm talking about travel, so I gave travel examples. You don't have to put a timeline on when you want to achieve this right now. We're just telling our money where to go. So that's what you will list in your sinking fund. And then after that, we are going to move on to investing. I'm going to tell you, as someone who used to be intimidated by investing, the first place to start, you probably are doing it already with your employer, with your 401k. If you are contributing in your 401k, you are investing. And if one of your goals is to not to like become an investing guru right now, make sure you are at least telling your money to put the minimum up to your company match into your 401k. Because if you're not, you're leaving money on the table. 401k matches is a part of your compensation plan. So at least get what they're matching. If your employer doesn't match, or you are working somewhere that doesn't have a 401k, I encourage you to start investing by at least opening up a Roth IRA. You can do this at sites like Fidelity or Charles Schwab. Those are, you want to open up a Roth IRA with a reputable brokerage financial institution. And the benefits of Roth IRAs, that's a whole other video too. I know you're like, girl, how many other videos are you gonna talk about? Because when you really go into depth about mastering your money, you have to keep going in deep in each section. But right now, I just want you to understand the overall basics of telling your money where to go, right? So if you are contributing to your 401k and you are like, I am tired of living on survival and I want to actually do some fun stuff in my life, by all means, let's just focus on those sinking funds, right? Now, one thing that I really want to stress about investing, whether it's your retirement or just your Roth IRA, it contributes to your net worth. Net worth is assets minus liabilities. I'm going to link to some resources for you to calculate your net worth. But if you want to just open up another tab in a worksheet if you're using that, or if you want to just flip over your pen and paper that you're working on, pen and paper, flip over the worksheet you're working on right now for aligning your spending with your priorities, I want you to think about your net worth. A lot of people talk about the most important number is your credit score. Your most important number is your net worth, because salaries can come and go, but your net worth is what will maintain you in the hard times, or if you really want to create a legacy. So assets, money in your checking account, money you have in your pocket right now, and whatever you have in a bank, whatever you have in your brokerage account. If you have a Roth IRA already open, whatever's in your retirement account, if you own a home or a car, even if you have a loan on it, these are your assets. Okay, this is something that you can sell to get money for. You may not be able to, sell it right away, but you can liquidate it and get cash from it. This is an asset. Okay, you want to list all of these things out. Then your liability. So what's your mortgage? Let me back up. If you own a home, you may say, what should I put for that? What is the appraisal value? If you look on, I hate to say, Zillow, what is it saying your home is worth in that area, right? So this could be a rule of thumb. I'm thinking appraisal values is the best, but if it's been some time since you bought your home, it may be way out of date. And then with the market right now, everything's fluctuating. So you can look on Zillow, Realtor.com, or something to figure out what your market value of your home is to get a sense of what it could be worth in your area. And same thing with your car. You can look up Kelley Blue Book to see what the value of your car is. Now, you know what your mortgage is. You have your total principal balance due on your statements. That's what you would put down. Same thing for your car. You want to list all the debt you have, all your student loans, all the credit cards, everything. And once you look at all your assets and you take away your liabilities, that is your net worth. If you are positive, you are doing good, right? And you want to continue to make that a positive number. But if you are the negative, you need to consider what action do you need to take to start turning it to a positive. And you may say, that's not one of my priorities right now, Tasha, is to take this dream trip. I hear you. But I want to challenge you on this, because if you were to lose your job, or if you are a business owner and you have several months of no income coming in, I don't wish that on you at all. If the worst happens, your net worth is what could sustain you. And after I became debt free, I focused more on my net worth than anything. And I got into debt after becoming debt free because I purchased a home, which was a multifamily and investment property. That's another topic for another day too. But my point is I started focusing on what was my total financial makeup, right? A lot of people say, I want to make six figures. I want to make six figures, or I want my partner to make six figures. I'm always like, why? Six figures is $100,000 or $900,000. How much money do you need to live a life you want to live? It may not even be six figures. What does your net worth say about you? That's the real question. Because if you have a positive net worth, if you were to lose your job, you are going to be able to sustain yourself, versus people who have a high salary but negative net worth, they lose that job, they are struggling usually immediately, right? Your assets will be able to hold you up in the hard times. They should be able to, right? So you could sell the car to be able to sustain yourself a little bit more. Hopefully it's more than the value of the car is more than the loan you have on it. But my point is that start to think about your net worth. Okay, it's not just about the credit score, and the only value that matters is your credit score and your salary. Your net worth is truly important. Okay, so I covered a lot in this video, and I want to continue to do more money videos. I love talking about personal finance. I actually am a CPA, and this is just all for educational purposes. I'm not talking about taxes right now. I just want to get to the basics, because people always ask me, how are you able to pay off debt? How are you able to become a real estate investor? And it's because I got not only good with my money, I mastered my money. I was able to quit my job and take a sabbatical and start traveling the world. So if you have any questions about anything that I put out in this video, leave them below, and make sure you check out my next video on screen. Until next time, bye.